Chapter 8 Sleuth or Consequences. It starts with me and Marie arriving at the Loud House, and we head in and up to Lincoln's room. We go in and we get a surprise. Lincoln is dressed up in a costume next to a poster of one of his favorite superheroes, Ace Savvy. Lincoln? I ask. I'm not Lincoln today, responds Lincoln. I'm Ace Savvy, the world's savviest crime fighter, a man of few words and fewer emotions, except for today. Lincoln begins dancing with excitement. Because today is the day of the big Ace Savvy comic book convention. Yeah! Right on, I say. I forgot that was today. Ace Savvy must be really awesome, says Marie. He is, says Lincoln, stoically again. And now to get out my trusty sidekick. Lincoln takes out his walkie-talkie. One-Eyed Jack, this is Ace Savvy. Clyde, dressed in his costume, responds. This is One-Eyed Jack. Just putting the finishing touches on my costume, and when it's ready, I'll be keeping one eye out for crime, he says, pulling an eye patch over his glasses and lets go, causing the impact to smack the lens of his glasses. Ow. Roger that, says Lincoln. I'll meet you at 4 when it's time to, he bursts out of his room, deal out some justice. He pulls out a deck of cards that spill all over the floor. Dang it, you'll get it, Lincoln, I say. It takes practice, but I think your sisters, minus Laney, would laugh at you because of your costume. Let's fix that. Me and Marie make a whole new costume for him. Lincoln now looks more like Ace Savvy. What a nice guy. There. Now you look perfect, I say. Marie makes a mirror of water and Lincoln is ecstatic. Oh, why doesn't JD do it? Why doesn't he do it? He can waterbend. Just read. This is awesome, exclaims Lincoln. I look just like Ace Savvy. Thank you, JD. You're welcome, buddy, I say. Cuts to outside of Lincoln's room. Okay, ladies, once he's out of his room, get ready, says Lola. I feel bad for him wearing something as ridiculous as that, says Luna, trying hard not to chuckle. I'm sure he can handle our teasing, says Lori. It's just a silly outfit after all. Ace Savvy, assemble, yells Lincoln as he bursts out his door. Hey girls, get a load of this, says Lola, mocking. Whoa, says Luna, in a sincere way. Rad costume, bro. Cool, says Lana. That is literally the best costume I've ever seen, says Lori. Your costume is awesome, Lincoln, says Laney. Wait, what? Weren't we supposed to make fun of... Lana nudges her elbow on Lola. Ow! I can't wait to go to the convention, exclaims Lincoln. It's my first one, a dream come true. Were you guys waiting for me so that you could tease me? Asks Lincoln. To be frank, we were about to, says Luann. But after seeing this, you sure shut us up. Your costume is awesome, man. I mean, if you had underwear worn outside of it, then yeah, it would look lame, says Lynn. Yeah, I mean, totally lame, right, says Lincoln nervously. Me and Marie made the costume for Lincoln. We figured we could make it look 100% authentic, I say. Luna walks up to Lincoln and pats his shoulder. Have a good rockin' time there, buddy. I will. Hey, Savvy. Lincoln jumps towards the stairs. Away! Whoa! He yells as he trips and falls down the stairs. Goddo blarg, ow, ouch, crud, dang. Why are there so many stairs? Thump. The sisters look down the stairs with concerned looks on their faces. Are you okay, bro? Asks Luna, worried. I'm okay. Dad conveniently broke my fall, says Lincoln. My back, my leg, my everything, says Lynn Sr. in agony. By the way, Laney, how's control over your powers coming along? I ask. They're great. I now have full mastery over them. Oh, great! Just took a chapter. They're great. I now have full mastery over them, says Laney. Lincoln's comic books provided me the answer. Love is the key, as well as concentration. Way to go, Laney, says Marie. You're a fast learner, Laney, I say. Lincoln comes back up the stairs. I'll be with you in a second. I've got to use the bathroom, says Lincoln. Okay, we'll wait out here, I say. Lincoln enters the bathroom. Water from the toilet gushes out. What the? Screams Lincoln in surprise. What happened to the bathroom? Asks Laney. So this is what happens when a toilet gushes water, I say. That's not a pleasant sight, says Marie. I guess. I go downstairs to get Lincoln's sisters. Girls? I ask. We have a little situation with the toilet. It's clogged. The other sisters rushed upstairs and see all the water. You're right, exclaims Laurie. The toilet is literally clogged. But how? Asks Lynn. I bet it was Lincoln, says Lola. The sisters minus Lainey, Lucy, Lana, Lisa, Lily, me, and Marie all glare at Lincoln. What makes you think I did it? Asks Lincoln. Maybe because you made more clogs than a Dutch shoe factory? Says Luann, laughs during rimshot. Me and Marie laugh with her. Good one, Luann. And Lincoln, I'm only laughing at Luann's joke. Oh, good. Wouldn't want to think our main character is bad in any kind of way. Cut to a few flashbacks of Lincoln clogging the toilet. Flashback 1. Lincoln is scraping his gross dinner into the toilet. So long, liverwurst loaf, says Lincoln, flushing the toilet only for it to back up. I'm telling Dad, yells Lola, bursting in. Flashback 2. Lincoln is holding an embarrassing sweater his mother made him. Mom can't make me wear you if she can't find you, says Lincoln, flushing it down the toilet only for another clog to occur. I'm telling Dad, yells Lola again, bursting in. Flashback 3. Lincoln is pouring a bunch of CDs into the toilet? Okay. Has anyone seen my CDs? Asks Lynn Sr. off screen. I gotta practice for karaoke night. As Lynn Sr. practices his singing, Lincoln flushes them down the toilet only for the obvious to happen. I'm telling Dad, yells Lola, bursting in. End flashbacks. All true, but this time it wasn't me, I swear, says Lincoln. I believe you, Lincoln. Of course you do. I say. JD, did you not remember all the times Lincoln clogged the toilet? Asks Laurie. I've lived here for 2 weeks, and I wasn't here to witness all those times, I say. Oh, you have a point there, says Laurie. Whatever, I still think Lincoln did it, and I'm telling Dad, says Lola. Laney then forms a cage made of vines around Lola. Hey, let me out of here, Laney, says Lola. Sorry, Lola, but not this time. I'm sick of you babbling me out. I'll tell Dad, says Lincoln, angry. No, I will. Now let me out of here, says Lola. No, says Laney. In the kitchen, Lincoln approached Lynn Sr. Dad? Asks Lincoln. What's wrong, son? Asks Lynn Sr. Ooh, I love your Ace Savvy costume, son. Did you make it? Thank you, Dad, but I did not. J.D. and Marie made it for me, responds Lincoln. Anyway, I came here to tell you that someone clogged the toilet. What? Asks Lynn Sr. Did you do this, Mr. Flush My CDs down the can? No, I didn't, I swear, says Lincoln. He's telling the truth, Mr. Lynn, and Laney couldn't have clogged the toilet because she only uses the bathroom to brush her hair? She told me herself. I say. That's true, but someone did it, said Lynn Sr. Toilets just don't clog themselves. Until one of you fesses up, everyone but Lincoln and Laney are grounded. The sisters minus Lincoln and Laney complain. I have you need this plunger, Mr. Lynn? I ask, with the plunger in my hands. Ah, thank you, JD, says Lynn Sr. I hand it to him. Forget that pitiful plunger, Dad. This is a Class 5 clog. You're going to need Big Bertha, says Lana, grabbing the plunger and busts out an even heavier plunger known as Big Bertha. Wow, Lana's quite the handyman, says Marie. When it comes to the house's internal and external plumbing, cars and boats, Lana can fix them right up, I say. Until I know who did the crime, you're all doing the time, says Lynn Sr. The sisters minus Laney complain even more. Entering the, Big Bertha coming through, says Lana, entering the bathroom with her father and Big Bertha. Well, my sisters are not doing the time for this crime. I'm going to find out who the real clogger is. A savvy style, says Lincoln, pulling out his deck and drops it again. Dang it! No, Lincoln, we'll find out who that clogger is together, I say. What a great friend. Okay, Laney. I know you're not one of the suspects because you only use the bathroom to brush your hair, like JD said, says Lincoln. I have a system, says Laney, whatever that means. That leaves us with 10 suspects, I say. Lincoln is shuffling a deck of cards and places various cards he put drawings of his sisters onto his deck. Weird. One of this is the perp. But which one? Asks Lincoln. Hey guys, says Lucy, coming out of nowhere, scaring Lincoln and Laney. I might have a tip for you. Well, what is it? asks Laney. Who? Lincoln interrupts her. Really? Asks Lincoln, suspicious. Wait, why do you want to help? I don't care about being grounded, says Lucy. My life is just an endless mental prison anyways. So what have you got? Asks Lincoln. Lynn has eaten spicy meatball subs for 10 days straight. You know what that does to your digestive system, right? Responds Lucy. Don't remind me, says Laney, disgusted. You, I say. Lynn likes spicy food like I do, says Marie. Great minds think alike, I say. I'm gonna kill someone. Okay. That's disgusting, but also a lead. I like your instincts, kid. You want to team up? Asks Lincoln. Sure, I've got nothing else to do besides bear the weight of the world on my shoulders, answers Lucy. You never cease to amaze us with your unwavering sense of optimism, Lucy. Oh my God, is that sarcasm? That might be seen as a negative trait. You might want to be careful, Laney. In the kitchen, Lynn is indeed eating a meatball sub. Suddenly, Lucy shines a flashlight in her face. Hey, what's with the light? Asks Lynn. Why don't you admit it, Lynn? You jammed the John, says Lincoln. I think that new costume is cutting off oxygen to your brain, says Lynn. Oh yeah? Then explain this, says Lincoln, dumping discarded sub wrappers on the table. Nobody can eat this many subs and not wreak havoc on the plumbing. Don't be so hard on your own sister, Lincoln, says Laney. Please ignore my partner. He tends to be a little nasty. We just want to talk about why the toilet's clogged. Did you make any stops today? Nice try, geniuses, but my favorite roller derby is playing tonight, and I never bomb the ball before the big game. It's bad luck. If I go number 2, we won't be number 1. I hate this, says Lynn. Gross, says Lucy. Going to the bathroom isn't bad luck, says Laney. You're really superstitious when it comes to sports, huh, Lynn? I ask. Yeah, I know. I can't help it. If you want to know who plugged the porcelain, why don't you ask Lisa? She keeps a log of all our bathroom habits. Pun intended. Says Lynn. Of course, Lisa's weird poop study. Ugh. Let's go see this joker, says Lincoln, holding up the wrong card. That's the 2 of diamonds, says Lucy. Ugh, I say. Lincoln, says Lincoln. Keep trying, Lincoln, says Marie. Lisa in Lily's room. I need the file from last night, from 1 to 4 a.m., says Lincoln. Who poops from 1 to 4 a.m.? Never mind. 1 to 4 a.m. It seems to be missing, says Lisa, looking for the requested file. Huh, that's weird. I wonder where it went, I say. Missing? How convenient. Clearly you did it. Case closed. Oh my God, says Lucy. Let's not jump to conclusions so fast. Too fast, Lucy, says Marie. Oh, please. I haven't used the family lavatory in years. It takes too much time away from my studies. I prefer to use Lily's training potty, says Lisa. Well, it looks like your story's clean. But your training potty's not, says Lincoln. What about Lily? Asks Lucy. She's always dumping her dirty diapers in the toilet. Aha! Exclaims Lincoln, sliding right into and knocks over Lily's diaper genie and reveals a plethora of pooped padding. This is gross. Nope. I'd say they're all here. That clears these 2. What about Laurie? Asks Lucy. Of course. She was so quick to point the finger at me. And you know what they say. She who dodged it, lodged it. Okay. That is a little funny. Says Lincoln. Lincoln goes to interrogate Laurie. Just then, a stretch and a snap sound effect is heard. Lincoln returns, revealing that Laurie gave him an atomic wedgie to prove her innocence. Laurie did not do it, says Lincoln. Watch this, says Marie. Marie then fired a jet of water from her hand, and it smelled like rotten fish and splashed Laurie and soaked her from head to toe. I'm all wet and I smell horrible, screams Laurie. Wow, Marie, I didn't know you have water powers. Weren't you there? Whatever, says Laney. It's one of my many powers over water. The water I splashed Laurie with smells like rotten fish. The smell will linger for a few days, says Marie. The bathroom, Lana, Lynn Sr., and Big Bertha are searching for the bowl's barricade? Oh, Big Bertha's hit something, exclaims Lynn Sr. I want to see. Is it something really grody? Asks Lynn. Dad hands her the object. Paper? It's got to be something bigger than that, says Lana, tossing the paper out the window. Move over, rookie. Some jobs require you to get your hands dirty, she says, taking over. The paper falls daintily as Clyde makes his way to the outhouse. I don't want to sing. One-eyed Jack, villains better watch their back, sings Clyde, getting his glasses struck by the paper Lana discarded. Gah, my crime eye, he says, crashing into the van and gets catapulted into the tree in the front yard. Better put a pot of cocoa on, says Lincoln. We've only got 2 more hours until the convention and 5 more suspects to go. I'd like some cocoa, says Laney. I put a tea kettle of water on the stove, and 3 minutes later it was ready. I make 4 cups of cocoa. Thanks, JD, says Lincoln. Thank you, says Laney. Thank you, says Lucy. Thanks, honey, says Marie. The next suspect was Luann. It wasn't me. I was asleep the whole time, and I can prove it, says Luann. I feel myself sleeping in case I say something funny I can use in my act. Vintage footage shows such an event. What do you call a sleeping bull? Says Luann, sleep joking. A bulldozer. Laughs during rim shot. Me. Ha 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 ha, I laugh. They cross off Luann and move on to Lenny. Ooh, you want to do an interview? Asks Lenny. Okay. My favorite color is zebra, and the secret to a great smile is they cross off Lenny, who proves to be too dumb to pull off such an act, and move on to Lana. Wish I could take the credit, says Lana. I've been trying to dam up the dumper for years. They cross Lana and move on to Lola. I would never get up in the middle of the night. It disrupts my beauty sleep. They cross off Lola and move on to their final suspect, Luna. I was at a rock concert, dudes, says Luna. Prove it, says Lucy. Luna turns on the TV to a news report of last night's concert, where she is shown chasing McSwagger on stage. Mick, wait! I just want a lock of your hair, says Luna on the TV. Lincoln and Lucy are just speechless at Luna's alibi. Yeah, that's her. She loves that guy, says Laney. Okay, that proves it, says Lucy. Well, her alibi is ironclad, I say. Gah, we're running out of time and we've got nothing, says Lincoln. We've got something, says Lana, finding the source of the clog. Here's the culprit. She hands it to Lincoln. Aha, a break in the case, says Lincoln, seeing that it's a book. Princess Pony, the touching true story of a delightful pony who changes the world with her horse sense. That is a really girly book, I say. Who would read something like that? Asks Laney. There's only one person who would read this. Lola, accuses Lucy. That lying scoundrel, says Lincoln. You guys do remember that that was just down the toilet, right? Asks Lana. Me, Marie, Lincoln, Lucy, and Laney revile and discuss and go back to Lola. Lincoln kicks the door open, only for it to close on his face. He then enters normally. We know you did it, Lola, accuses Lincoln. We found your book in the toilet, he says, showing the evidence. Barf, that is not mine, responds Lola. I may be girly and pink, but I do have standards. She's right, says Laney. Well, that was quick. I think she's telling the truth, says Lincoln, convinced. I don't, says Lucy, doubtful. She's sweating more than a vampire in the sun. Vampires don't sweat in the sun, Lucy, they burn. The sun will incinerate them. It's a joke. The sun will incinerate them, I say. Never knew about that, but let me take a run at her, says Lucy, kicking down Lola's tea party table. We know you did it. Admit it. Confess. If you don't tell the truth, your heart will never be set free. I pull Lucy away. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on, I gotta count. Whoa, 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 whoa. Calm down, Lucy. Just relax, Lucy, says Marie. Whoa, easy there, spooky, says Lincoln, holding back an enraged Lucy. You're cleaning that up, says Lola, as she looks at Lucy, unfazed by her outburst. Laney sighs as she held out a cloth. Right. Laney went back to her room. The doorbell rings, and me, Marie, and Lincoln answer the door. One-eyed Jack? Exclaims Lincoln. Sorry I'm late, Ace. I would have been here sooner, but I was thwarted by this dastardly piece of paper that flew from your bathroom window, says Clyde. This looks like a page from Princess Pony, says Lincoln, looking at the paper and seeing something familiar. If you don't tell the truth, your heart will never be set free. Where have I heard that before? Asks Lincoln, suddenly realizing that those are the exact words that Lucy told Lola, and finds out who the culprit is. Lucy! You solved the case, One-Eyed Jack. Thanks to you, the city can flush without fear. Clyde does some victory poses. Come on inside, Clyde. We'll explain along the way, I say. 5 minutes earlier, Laney was walking back to her room, but once she got there, she saw Lucy hiding something in the ceiling lamp. Lucy? Asks Laney. Lucy? Asks Laney. Laney? Says Lucy, startled. What are you doing? Asks Laney. Checking the bulb in the lamp, she responds nervously. What are you hiding? Asks Laney, suspicious. Nothing you can prove, says Lucy. Present, as in present time. It was you! Exclaimed Lincoln, kicking the door open. Lincoln, stop kicking down the doors, says Lynn Sr. off screen. Me, Lincoln, Very, and Clyde came in. You're the Princess Pony lover, says Lincoln. That's absurd, says Lucy. Then you don't mind if I search the premises? Says Lincoln. Searches but fails to find any evidence. Are you done? Asks Lucy. I'll be done when I'm. Lincoln notices something on the floor. That's an odd shadow. Looks up at the ceiling lamp and finds a clue. Aha! Lisa's missing bathroom files. Lynn must have put that there, says Lucy. You've got nothing on me. Just then, her gloomy, macabre poster peels off and reveals a Princess Pony poster from behind. Dang it. You've been lying to me this whole time. Why? Asks Lincoln. You might as well come clean, Lucy. Thanks for your input. I say. Lucy readjusts the macabre poster. I couldn't let our sisters know I read Princess Pony. You know how they are. They'd make fun of me for the rest of my life. So, why do you read it? Asks Lincoln. Even I need a break from the darkness every now and then, says Lucy. So how did it end up in the toilet? Asks Lincoln. The bathroom is the only place I can safely read it, says Lucy, flashes back to last night. I was reading it last night, and when I heard someone coming, I panicked. Through her panicking, Lucy tossed the book into the toilet and hid in the bathtub. When a groggy Lincoln came by to use the toilet and flushed it. As soon as he left, it gave Lucy the chance to escape and save her secret. End flashback. Do you have a sleepwalking problem, Lincoln? I ask. Not that I know or remember, says Lincoln. But Lucy, I never make fun of you. Why didn't you tell me? Says Laney. I'd thought you'd make fun of me like the rest, says Lucy. Lucy, I'm your sister, says Laney. It's basically my job to be there for you. We're supposed to understand each other. Thanks, Laney, says Lucy. I would never do such a thing to you, I say. For some reason, Lucy, it's not in my nature. You're one of my best friends, and if you like Princess Pony, then that's fine with me. Me too, says Laney. Me too, Lucy, says Clyde. That's great, guys, but Lucy, you have to tell everybody. They still think I did it, says Lincoln. But they'll tease me even worse than they tease you, says Lucy. You can probably handle that, but I can't. I'm about I'm about to miss the convention. Either you tell them or I will, says Lincoln. I'll tell them, says Lucy, admitting defeat. No, we'll all tell them, I say. Downstairs, Lori and Lenny are texting each other. Lola's fixing her hair, Lana's arranging her tools, Lynn's doing push-ups, Lisa's reading, and Luann and Luna are fighting over the TV remote. Lori's in the dining room because she smells like rotten fish. Sick. Give it back, says Luann. It's mine, says Luna. Enter Laney, me, Lincoln, and Marie with Lucy, ready to confess. Guys, says Lucy, getting the attention and revealing the book, this is what totaled the toilet. Princess Pony, exclaims Lisa. The sisters laugh. Which one of the you lamos does that belong to? Asks Lynn. Certainly not me. It's so sickeningly sweet I get a toothache just looking at it, says Lisa. Can that really happen? Asks Lenny, terrified at Lisa's exaggeration. Whoever that belongs to is gonna be the laughing stock of this house, says Luann. Yeah, they're literally worse than Lincoln, says Lori. The other sisters laugh some more, and Lucy knows she has to face the music. Actually, the book belongs to me, says Lucy. Luann, Lenny, Lynn, Lana, Lola, Lisa, Lori, and Luna are all flabbergasted. You? They all say. There's a reason for it, I say. Just let her explain. Lucy explained her reasons why the toilet clogged up. Lynn Sr. came in and was saddened by her confession. And there you have it, says Lucy, finishing her confession. I didn't want to tell you because I was afraid you would all laugh at me. Luce, I would never laugh at you. We share the same room, says Lynn. Lucy, I would never laugh at you, my dark little angel, or my little dark angel. Everyone has their own hidden hobbies, says Lynn Sr. That's right, Lucy, says Laurie. Some of us have stuff we want to keep hidden, even if they are extremely girly, I say. Well, you're all officially ungrounded, says Lynn Sr. The other sisters cheer and celebrate their freedom. Why is Laurie in the dining room away from you guys? Asks Lynn Sr. Laurie gave Lincoln an atomic wedgie as he was interrogating her, and I used my water powers and drenched her with water that smells like rotten fish, says Marie. Lenny, Luna, Luann, Lynn, Lola, and Lily all say, Ew! Cool, says Lana. It's true, fellow siblings, says Lisa. Myself, Lucy, Laney, Lincoln, and Lily witnessed Marie firing H2O down the hall at Laurie. It's also payback for Lola gathering everyone to tease Lincoln about his costume. I say. Well, that's not nice, says Lynn Sr. Lola, you are grounded for a week. Lola roared with anger and went up to her room. Meavery, Lincoln, and Clyde went to the comic book convention and got his book signed. Lincoln also won a special contest for having the best Ace Savvy costume, and he got a medal and an official Ace Savvy deck of cards. The same thing with Clyde for the best One-Eyed Jack costume. Later that night in Lincoln's room, I did it, says Lincoln, perfecting the card trick. All right, I say, I knew you could do it. Enter Lucy with something in her hands. Hey, Lincoln, says Lucy, causing Lincoln to jump and scream. My bad. I'm glad you guys all had fun at the convention, and congratulations on winning that contest. Thanks, Lucy, says Lincoln. I have something for you, she says. Lucy hands Lincoln her own comic book that she made, and we see that it has a lot of dark images. Lucy, this is really good, I say. Have you ever thought about making your own comic books? It's not really my thing, but thank you, says Lucy. Outside Lincoln's room, Lucy's break from darkness was over, and Laney went back to your room, knowing that the mystery was finally solved. Woohoo! Cheers Lynn, ecstatic. My team did it! We're number one! She feels intestinal distress. Ooh, time for number two, she says, hurrying to the bathroom. Dad, I think we're gonna need Big Bertha again, says Lana. The end. I think I'll start reading these end parts. My sixth fan fiction is complete. Viri has lots of powers that use water. She has cosmic hydrokinesis she can fly too. The next story is going to be good, but it's going to take some time for me to think about it. So until then, this is JD signing off. Chapter 9 Chains of Heart. It starts in the Loud House dining room. Lincoln is reading a book and having some carrot sticks. I'm reading today's newspaper and eating potato chips. Laney is reading a book and eating apple slices. And Viri is reading a book and eating some celery sticks. Lincoln vacuums a carrot stick in his mouth right when doorbell rings. Whitney, wait till you see my new shoes, says Laurie on the phone. They will literally blow your mind. She opens the door and it turns out to be Clyde, who is struck by her beauty. Laurie? Stammers Clyde nervously infatuated. Uh-oh, here it comes. I sense what's to come. Clyde gets a nosebleed, which spills on Laurie's shoes, making her scream so loud that the crows fly away and faints. Me and Laney grab Clyde before he falls to the floor. Ugh, never mind, Whitney, says Laurie, aggravated, hanging up. Guys, this is the fourth pair of shoes Clyde's ruined this month. I'm sorry, Laurie, but he can't help it when he's around you, I say. How many nosebleeds has Clyde gotten over the month? Asks Viri. Series of flashbacks of all the other pairs Clyde ruined. First, Lincoln and Clyde are reading comics in his room when Laurie with the enter Laurie with the laundry basket. Lincoln, do you have any laundry? Asks Laurie. Laurie? Asks Clyde, seeing Laurie. Nosebleeds and gets her shoes ruined, making her scream. Next, the boys and Laney are looking in the fridge for a snack and take out a dish with Laurie right behind them. Hey, you better not eat all the leftover gazpacho, says Laurie. Laurie? Asks Clyde nervously. Starts acting like a robot. System overload. Does not compute. System overload. Does not compute. System shutting down. His shutdown knocks the gazpacho out of Lincoln's hand and lands on Laurie's shoes. Gah! Screams Laurie. Now Laurie is in Vanzilla. Mom, Dad, I'm off to practice, calls out Lori, as she notices Clyde in there for some reason, startled. Clyde? What are you even doing here? Lori? Asks Clyde, shaking. His nose blood squirts right onto her shoes. Lori just bangs her head on the steering wheel's horn. End flashback as they put Clyde on the chair. Maybe you should try wearing red shoes, says Lincoln. Right, bad idea, Lincoln, he says, seeing Lori growling at him. Sorry, Lori, you were growling like a wolf, one of my favorites, by the way, I say, roaring like a bear. I can't. Oh my god. Ugh, I just wish Clyde could act normal around me, says Lori, calm, as she leaves. Lori comes back briefly. Thanks for the compliment, JD, says Lori. You're welcome, Lori, I say. So do I, my sweet angel, so do I, says Clyde, coming to. He opens a locket of a picture of a startled Lori. But how am I supposed to act normal around such a beautiful, flawless. Clyde starts nosebleeding again. Lincoln shoves carrot sticks up his friend's nose. Don't worry, buddy, we'll figure something out. You got to calm down when you're around Lori, Clyde, says Laney. I know, Laney, but it's hard, responds Clyde. Maybe one of Lincoln's other sisters knows how to help Clyde, says Marie. Dang blast it, Eberhardt's dog went number 2 on my lawn again? Says Mr. Grouch from outside talking to Lenny. Did I say Mr. Grouse? Try doing what I do, Mr. Grouse. I'll name all 40 states, and by the time I'm done, I've forgotten why I was mad, says Lenny. Well, actually, it's 48, but I'll give it a try, says Mr. Grouse. Starts naming them in alphabetical order. Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, California. Lincoln had watched it from the window. Actually, Clyde, I may know someone who can help you, says Lincoln. Cut to Lenny in the living room. Sure, what do you need my help with? Asks Lenny. La 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 la, Clyde stammers. Lemons? Asks Lenny. No, I say. La 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 la, Clyde stammers. Leggings? Asks Lenny. No, I say. La 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 la, of course, loofahs. First of all, natural fibers are the way to go, says Lenny. He's talking about Lori, says Lincoln. Oh, she doesn't use a loofah, says Lenny. That's why she has bacne, whispers Lenny. Lincoln, me, Laney, and Marie facepalm. No, I want to learn how to act normal around her, or at least just stop nosebleeding on her shoes, says Clyde. Have you tried shoving carrot sticks up your nose? Asks Lenny. Yes, and breadsticks, and pretzel rods, and corn dogs. Which you really need to let cool down first. Ouch, I say. Well, no worries. I know other ways to help you, says Lenny, taking Clyde. Later, Lori peeks her head from the second floor and sees Lincoln and me playing video games. Lincoln, is Clyde still here? Asks Lori. This is literally my last pair of wearable shoes. Don't worry about Clyde, says Lincoln. He's hanging out with Lenny. Anne Marie and Laney are going to be with them, I say. Really? Asks Lori. From the kitchen, Lenny and Clyde are laughing. Lori peeks in to see it. Oh, Lenny, says Clyde. Lenny and Clyde? That's weird, Lori thinks. Outside, Lori's practicing her golf swing. If Lori Loud can sink this 4-footer, she'll literally win the Masters, says Lori, narrating to herself. Heads up, says Lynn. A frisbee comes by and Lori ducks and swings. Lana and Lynn laugh and chase after the disc. The golf ball lands right next to the cellar window. And if I don't get a nosebleed, I'm usually doing this, says Clyde, inside the basement. Does his robot impression. System overload does not compute. Mimics power down. Usually JD snaps him out of it with a snap of his fingers, says Laney. Lori witnesses it. I only thought Clyde acted like an awkward robot around me. Thinks Lori. The frisbee hits Lori. Oof, says Lori. She falls into a hole. Do you mind? Asks Lucy, holding a shovel. This grave is spoken for. Lana notices what happened and sheepishly leaves. Carol did what? Asks Lori on her phone. Hang on, Whitney. I literally need chips for this story. Lenny and Clyde are in the kitchen. So when somebody makes me nervous, I just stare at their left ear and recite my ABCs, says Lenny. Got it. Great tip, says Clyde, writing it down. Heads up, says Lynn from outside. The frisbee flies into the kitchen and hits Clyde in the nose. Ow, says Clyde, as he starts bleeding from his nostrils and covers it up. Clyde, are you all right? Asks Laney. Yeah, responds Clyde. Laurie enters, giggling, and sees them and hides. My shoes, says Lenny, with blood on her shoes. Laurie had seen it. Okay. Now he's getting nosebleeds on her shoes? Thinks Laurie. Laurie gasps. This can only mean one thing. Clyde likes Lenny. I'm free, celebrates Laurie, jubilant. Gasps with joy and runs to Vanzilla. Oh, I'm going shoe shopping, she says, driving off. Back in the kitchen, Marie grabs a nice bag for Clyde. Here you go, Clyde, says Marie. Thanks, Marie, says Clyde. I can't tell if I'm saying her name right. Is it Very? No, Very sounds like very. Well, I'm going to keep it Very. Later, Lloyd returns with new shoes. Lenny gets a call and answers. Oh, hi, Clyde, says Lenny. What a nice surprise. Oh, poor Lenny. I wouldn't want to be in her shoes. Literally. Ooh, Laurie, that was good. Thanks, Laurie. Thanks for the shoe cleaning supplies. It was totes sweet of you, says Lenny. You're the most thoughtful person I've ever met, Clyde. Laurie looks at some gifts Clyde gave her in the past. Well, I will give him that. He is pretty thoughtful. Thanks to Laurie. A series of flashbacks of her receiving those gifts is shown. First, there's a telescope with a note on it, and she reads it. Congratulations, a new star has been named after you. Corona L'Orealis? Okay. Laurie looks into the telescope, and an arrow points to the star in question. How does that make sense? Clyde falls out? What? Whoa! Exclaims Clyde. Thuds. Oof. Next flashback takes place in winter, where Clyde has made a literal snow angel that looks like Laurie, but Charles runs up to it and pees on it. Charles, no! Not on my snow angel, says Clyde. The next flashback shows Laurie coming home, defeated in a golf game. She finds a teddy bear on the steps and reads the note on it. You may have lost your golf tournament, but you'll never lose my heart. Laurie presses the bear. I love you forever, says the teddy bear. Laurie doesn't like it very much. End flashbacks. She presses the bear again. I love you forever. The teddy bear breaks down. And its eye pops out. What am I thinking? I have to get Clyde back, thinks Laurie. Downstairs, me, Lincoln, Clyde, and Lenny are all playing video games together, and Laney and Maria are reading books. Enter Laurie with a pitcher? Oh, hey guys, says Laurie. Just wondered if anyone wanted some lemonade. No, thank you, Laurie. I'm good, I say. Her very presence puts Clyde in a paranoid state as he tries to act normal. Clyde? Asks Laurie, confused. Ooh, I'll take some, says Lincoln. Get your own, says Laurie, angrily, tossing the glass aside. Clyde relaxes. Great job, Clyde, says Lenny. You were in the same room as Laurie and no nosebleed. Good job, Clyde, I say. Yeah, your ABCs trick really worked, says Clyde. It always does, says Lenny. Unless you have to go past the letter P, because then it gets really hard. Now let's work on the next step. Eye contact. The sun is blazing, but Laurie's wearing a wintry scarf. Brr. Boy, is it chilly today. So glad I have this cozy scarf Clyde made for me, says Laurie. It's 85 degrees and you're sweating, says Lincoln. Laurie growls like a lion at Lincoln. Then sweetly to Clyde, Clyde, wherever did you learn to be such a great knitter? I roar like a leopard. Great lion roar, Laurie. Thanks, JD. You've done all sorts of animal sounds, says Laurie. Not to brag, but predatory animals are my specialty, I say. Clyde stares at Laurie, holds his breath, and runs back inside. It worked? Asks Lenny. Yep, I just held my breath, like you said, says Clyde, exhaling. Great! You're ready for the final step, conversation. But that one we'll need to train for, says Lenny. Just give me a moment, says Clyde, hyperventilating into his paper bag. Clyde's house. Okay, I'm ready. Let's do this, says Clyde, petrified. Oh, someone's at the door. Who could it be? Asks Lincoln, knocking on one of the support beams and acting. Why, it's my eldest sister, Laurie. Enter Lenny, dressed like Laurie. OMG, Bobby texting, literally, says Lenny, doing a Laurie impression. I'm holding my laughter in. Unbeknownst to them, the real Laurie is coming over with a comic. Clyde can't ignore the Clyde can ignore the lemonade and the scarf, but this limited edition A-Savvy comic will definitely do the trick. Thanks, Laurie. Hi, Laurie. How's it going? Asks Clyde, shaking. Super job, Clyde, says Lenny. Great job, buddy, I say. Yeah, you sounded totally natural. No, he didn't, says Lincoln. Thanks, says Clyde, as shows an ice pack under his shirt. The ice pack was a great idea. He removes it. It really kept me distracted, though I can't feel my belly button. Laurie approaches the door. This has been totes fun. You're such a great guy, Clyde, says Lenny. Thanks, Lenny. And may I say, you've never looked more beautiful, says Clyde. Oh, Clyde, says Lenny, giggling. That does it, says Laurie, tossing the comic and growling. In the bathroom, Laurie is changing her appearance to look more like Lenny. So Clyde likes the way Lenny looks? Fine, I can look like Lenny, thinks Laurie. She tries brushing her hair, but the brush snaps to her annoyance. Outside, her sisters are waiting impatiently and demand that she come out. Leave me alone, I'm busy, says Laurie, opening the door. The other sisters gasp at the sight of the firstborn. Weird way of saying it. Why do you look like Lenny's messed up twin? Asks Lynn. Because I'm trying to win Clyde back, says Laurie. Win him back? He's obsessed with you, says Luann. No, he's obsessed with Lenny now, but not for long, says Laurie. Why do you even care? Asks Lana. Yeah, you hide when he comes over and throw his gifts in the trash, says Lucy. You use his homemade cookies as doorstops, says Luann. Well, yes, but Laurie is cut off. Do you like Clyde now? Oh, look at that. That's underlined. Uh, do you like Clyde now? Asks Lola. Of course not, says Laurie. Well, then why are you trying to win him back? Asks Lana. I just need him to like me. Now stop asking questions. I know what I'm doing, responds Laurie, going back into the bathroom. She takes a look in the mirror and realizes in sighs. What am I doing? You're trying to win back Clyde. Now stop farting around and straighten that hair, thinks Laurie. Uh, no, I don't need to win Clyde back. I need to apologize to him, says Laurie. Don't be a fool. What is this, like, uh, Smeagol and Gollum? Don't be a fool, thinks Laurie. Says Laurie's thoughts. Shove it. I'm not listening to you anymore, says Laurie. The other sisters, except Lola, slowly inch away from hearing Laurie talk to herself. I don't think I need to tinkle after all, says Lola, uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable too, funnily enough. Back at Clyde's house, Clyde steps out with confidence. Okay, Clyde, your training is complete. You ready to go have a normal conversation with Laurie? Asks Lenny. You know it, answers Clyde, holding up a fish from his shirt. I just hope this frozen salmon takes longer to melt than that ice pack did. Clyde salutes to his trainer. She and her brother give him a thumbs. Oh, right. She and her brother gives him a thumbs up, and he makes his way to Laurie. Laurie steps out of the bathroom and sighs. Clyde is being followed by a pack of cats who smell the salmon. Nice kitty, says Clyde, nervous. He he sheepishly smiles and runs, screaming with the cats in pursuit. Laurie descends the stairs, and Clyde approaches the door. Laurie opens the door and sees Clyde standing on the step. Clyde! Exclaims Laurie. I was just on my way to see you. There's something I really wanted to tell you. First, I wanted to apologize for never appreciating how kind and thoughtful you are, says and second, I want to thank you for making me feel so good about myself all these years. You're a special guy, Clyde, and literally anyone would be lucky to be your crush. She hugs him, and this causes his nostrils to bleed all over her shoes, much to her fright. Lincoln catches his unconscious friend. Laurie, what happened? Asks Lincoln. They bring Clyde to the sofa. I don't know. I was just telling Clyde that I'm okay with him liking Lenny now, and Laurie is cut off. What are you talking about? He doesn't like Lenny, says Lincoln. But I saw them in the kitchen. He got a nosebleed all over her shoes, says Laurie. Yeah, because he got hit in the nose, says Lincoln. Lynn's frisbee hit him in the face and Marie grabbed him an ice bag. So I say, well, why was he acting like a robot with her? Asks Laurie. He was just showing us what happens when he's around, says Marie. But I was just over at his house. I heard him say she was beautiful, says Loy, because Lenny was dressed like you, says Laney. What? Why were they doing all this? Asks Loy. Because Lenny was helping Clyde learn to act normal around you, just like you wanted, says Lincoln. Yeah, and we were trying to help him, I say. So he never stopped having a crush on me? Asks Loy. We shake our heads. No, and Loy looks at Clyde with joy. Ha! I knew it, says Loy's thoughts. No, you didn't, says Lori. Who are you talking to? Asks Lincoln, disturbed. No one, says Loy. Enter Lenny, still in her Lori costume. Oh no, poor Clyde, says Lenny, concerned. Clyde suddenly comes to and sees the real Lori and Lenny in her costume. Two Loris? Stammers Clyde, nervously infatuated. Goes into robot mode. System overload EU. I snap my fingers and Clyde returns to normal. Great! Thank you! Thank you, JD! Thanks, JD, says Clyde. Wow, says Lori, amazed. That literally works. Lenny, you can take off your Lori costume now, says Marie. Okay. Lenny changes back into her normal appearance. Boy, this has been one strange day, says Laney. You said it, Laney, I say. The end. My 8th fan fiction is complete. I wanted to do this before Not Allowed, but I got ahead of myself. Also, I'm sorry if my different version didn't turn out like you had expected it to. But don't worry, it's all trial and error. Until next time, JD signing off. Laney belongs to King Hammer Publishing on. Okay. Well, looks like you finally credited Laney, I think. And like, okay, is this even fanfic? Because I'm basically reading Loud House episodes with the occasional like side character that is JD and Laney and Marie just like pitching in to do nothing. Ah, okay, whatever. It's an audiobook. It's an audiobook. Next chapter. Chapter 10. Not Allowed. Lincoln, Clyde, and Laney are looking around in the attic. Check this out, says Clyde, showing Lori's baby book with a photo of her talking into a toy phone with unusual features. Our little Lori was born with a pointy head, no hair, and webbed toes. Gosh, she was perfect from day one. Focus, Clyde. We're supposed to be looking for my birth story, says Lincoln, snapping his friend out of it. Me and Marie then came in. Hey, guys, I say. Hey, JD, Marie, says Lincoln. What are you guys doing? asks Marie. Everyone in our class has to do a report about the day they were born, and tomorrow is my turn. Suddenly, it should be a cinch because Mom and Dad keep detailed baby books for all of us, says Lincoln, showing his sisters' books in order. Cool, I say. Can we take a look? Asks Marie. Sure, says Laney. Me and Marie come up and join them. Here's Luna's, says Lincoln, which shows baby Luna with a guitar. Music star from day one, I say. Boy, she was adorable. That's weird. Here's Lynn's, says Lincoln, which shows baby Lynn working out with a dumbbell. Boy, she was a strong baby. I can tell she had a lot of energy from day one, says Marie. Here's Lucy's, says Lincoln, which shows baby Lucy folding her arms and wearing a winter cap, hiding her eyes, and her photo is a little damaged. Boy, born into darkness from day one, I say. Oh, God. Here's mine, says Laney, which was a brighter red book, and it shows baby Laney with a paintbrush and with brown paint on her arms, and the walls had animals painted on them. You're a talented artist from day one, says Marie. Aha! Here's mine, exclaims Lincoln, which shows him wearing a white cap similar to Lucy's and holding Bun Bun. You were adorable, Lincoln. That's weird, I say. Lincoln opens it up but finds no pictures. Huh. This section for my birth story is blank, says Lincoln. That's weird. Huh. I wonder why, I say. That's okay. I'm sure Mom and Dad remember it, says Lincoln. Jump to the parents. Lynn Sr. spits out his coffee on Lincoln. Your birth story? Asks Lynn Sr., flabbergasted. Meavery and Laney were listening from the stairs. Yeah, it's not in my baby book, says Lincoln, wiping the spewed coffee off his face. Okay. That's weird, says Rita, uneasy. What do you want to know? She asks. Well, what time of day was I born? Asks Lincoln. Rita and Lynn Sr. answer at the same time. Morning, says Lynn Sr. Night, says Rita. Okay, how much did I weigh? Asks Lincoln, confused. The parents answer at the same time again. 9 pounds, says Lynn Sr. 7 pounds, says Rita, holding up a certain number of fingers. Lincoln and Clyde look at each other suspiciously. What What was the doctor's name? Asks Lincoln. Another simultaneous answer. Dr. Bernstein, says Lynn Sr. Dr. Patel, says Rita. What is going on? Asks Lincoln. Nothing, say both the parents through gritted teeth. At least you agree on that one, says Lincoln. Lincoln's room. That story has more holes than my underwear? Says Lincoln. Yeah, actually, it had more holes in it than Swiss cheese. Thanks, JD. I say. Mom and Dad were very secretive, said Laney. This is not like them. I wonder why, says Marie. Whatever it is, I got something to do with it's got something to do with Lincoln's birth, and it must be very big, I say. Well, my parents are obviously hiding something, and I'm going to get to the bottom of it, says Lincoln. No, we are, says Clyde. You're my best bud and future brother-in-law? Right, okay. And I need to know how you came into this world? That's weird. Me too, says Marie. That's weird. Let's do some detective work, I say. Laurie and Lenny's room. Hey, Laurie, do you remember anything about the day I was born? Asks Lincoln. Sure. Pop Pop was watching us. A car pulled up and a scientist wearing a mask and gloves stepped out holding you, says Laurie. A scientist? Asks Lincoln, baffled. Did you say scientist? Asks Clyde outside the room, trying not to see the firstborn daughter. Oh, hi, Clyde, says Laurie. System overload abort, says Clyde, acting like a robot outside. I snap my fingers and he goes back to normal. Thanks, JD, says Clyde. You're welcome, Clyde. I'll tell you why Clyde does that later, Marie, I say. Actually, I think I figured it out. I've already figured it out, says Marie. Awesome. Back in Lincoln's room. I hate to question my future bride, but that story makes no sense. Scientists don't deliver babies, says Clyde, unless they were trained in the fields of genetic and reproductive medical science. That's true, I say. That's true. And Lisa is a scientist, says Laney. Good observation. Wait a minute. What if the science didn't deliver me? What if she created me? Says Lincoln, taking out one of his DVD movies. Like Larry the Lab Boy. Of course, says Clyde. It would totally explain the white hair. Clyde flicks Lincoln's cowlick and chuckles. Only one thing. Larry had superpowers and I don't, says Lincoln. Laboratory experimentation is a definitive cause of people getting superpowers, I say. I got my superpowers because of a mystical artifact. Yeah, and chemicals, but God knows we forgot about that. I was born with superpowers, I say. You all have seen what I can do, and I still have more powers to show you. Thank you, thank you. Chekhov's superpowers. Uh, I was born with my powers too, says Marie, but I don't think Lincoln has superpowers either. Or do you have superpowers, Lincoln? Asks Clyde, intrigued. Field test, both Lincoln and Clyde both say. First up, super strength, says Clyde. A bunch of heavy objects are bundled up together over Lincoln's head on a branch. I don't know about this, Clyde. Lincoln could get hurt, says Laney. Okay, Clyde, let's do this, says Lincoln. Clyde cuts the rope, and the objects drop right on top of Lincoln, who screams in pain, debunking the super strength test. I lift the stuff off Lincoln with no problems and set it aside. Casually. Oh my god. Clyde and Laney were amazed. Marie was healing Lincoln with her water powers. Wow, Marie, I didn't know you can heal people with water. It's one of my special abilities. Water is said to be a purifying and healing force, says Marie. 20 minutes later. Now that you're upright, let's try testing your super speed, says Clyde. Me and Lincoln were in racing stances. Oh my god. On your mark, get set, run like the wind, says Clyde. Lincoln takes off, and I run faster than a bolt of lightning. Lincoln, Clyde, Marie, and Laney were awestruck. Of course they were. I came back 3 seconds later, soaked in sweat, with a tote bag on my shoulder. Time, I say, 3.54 seconds. Wow, you have super speed, JD, says Clyde. Yep, I say casually. I pull out some stuff from different countries. Got got you some stuff from different countries, I say. Clyde, I got you these cool maracas from Mexico. Laney, I got you this cool artist beret from France. Marie, I got you this beautiful necklace from Russia. And Lincoln, I got you this cool Sherpa hat from Nepal. Awesome. Thanks, JD, says Clyde, taking his gift. Thank you, JD, says Laney, taking her gift. Marie gives me a kiss, and I put her necklace around her neck. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful blue diamond heart. Aw, heart of the ocean from Titanic. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, JD, says Lincoln, taking his gift. I think you just proved to Lincoln that he's definitely not as fast as a boy made in a lab, says Clyde. Ah, let's go check with Lenny, says Lincoln. What? I totes remember that day. We were at home waiting to meet you, and then you were carried in by an eagle. Well, off to the mall, says Lenny, leaving. An eagle? That's crazy, says Lincoln, doubtful. Doubts Lincoln. That makes more sense. I've heard of storks delivering babies, but not eagles, says Laney. The stork delivering babies was proven to be a myth. Oh, you don't say. I say. Maybe she said beagle, says Clyde. How is that better? Asks Lincoln. Lincoln gets an idea. Wait a minute. He gets out another DVD. Remember this? Of course, Eric the Eagle Boy. He was half eagle and half boy. That would explain the white hair, says Clyde, as he pulls on Lincoln's cowlick. Lincoln's hair would have to be made of feathers, Clyde, says Vuri. Plus, humans can't lay eggs like chickens. Also, being born in the jungle has been proven to give super what? Whatever. I say. True, but Eric could do all that, you know, eagle stuff, says Lincoln. Field tests, says Lincoln and Clyde at the same time. A bunch of pillows are on the ground. McBride to tower. We're ready for takeoff. Over, says Clyde into a talkie. I'm in a nearby tree. Tower to, Tower to McBride, you're clear for takeoff. Over. I say into a walkie-talkie. 1, 2, 3, fly, Eagle Boy. Lincoln takes off. Fly like a. Lincoln is unable to stay airborne and crashes onto the pillows. A rock, says Clyde, unimpressed. Good thing those pillows were there to cushion his fall, and I can fly, says Laney. Laney floats and flies in the air and does some aerial tricks and stunts. Lincoln, Clyde, and Marie are awestruck. Of course they are. The dining room. Open wide, Eagle Boy. Here's the lunch, says Clyde, holding up a can of worms. You, says Marie. I think I'm going to be sick, I say. Lincoln gulps nervously and takes a worm. Immediate segue to me. Immediate segue to me and him throwing up in the toilet and the sink. Why you? You didn't eat a worm. That was disgusting, says Laney. Maybe it was Beagle, says Clyde, thinking, as he holds up a can of food. How about some turkey giblets and gravy? Lincoln and me get more nauseous and we throw up again. Sick. We are now talking to Luna about the story. Your birth story? Asks Luna. Totally remember it, brah. A car pulled up to our house and Mom and Dad stepped out holding you. Huh, nothing suspicious about that. And then all these dudes in dark suits and sunglasses jumped out, surrounded the house, and started talking into their watches. It was pretty rad. Later, says Luna, leaving. Well, now I'm even more confused, says Lincoln. Clyde hands Lincoln another DVD. Alan, the alien boy, of course. Those guys Luna saw were government agents bringing me to Mom and Dad, says Lincoln. That would explain the white hair, says Clyde. There's one crucial difference. Alan was either born on another planet or in Area 51. Lincoln was born here in Michigan. How do you know that? How do you know that, huh? That's the whole point. We're trying to figure that out, JD. Whatever. What's Area 51? Asks Laney. Area 51 is a top secret government extraterrestrial research facility. It's located in Nevada. It's very secretive, I say. Sounds very suspicious, says Marie. Field tests, Lincoln and Clyde at the same time. I'm losing it. The hallway in front of the bathroom door. Alad could open doors with his mind, says Clyde. People that have superpowers usually come from alien planets, like Superman from Krypton, or Starfire from Tamaran. I say. Let's see what you've got, says Clyde. Lincoln tries opening the door using mind powers, and after a few seconds, it does open. It worked! Says Lincoln, Clyde, Laney, me, and Vuri at the same time. The toilet flushes, and out comes Lana with a newspaper. I'd give it a minute before going in there. Woo, says Lana. I can do all that with the Force, I say. Well, scratch that. The next test is the ability to regenerate lost limbs. Do you have a stick you could bite on? Asks Clyde. Clyde, we're not cutting off one of Lincoln's arms or legs, says Vuri. Humans can't go back their lost limbs like reptiles can, I say. Good observation! Okay, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious I'm not an alien, says Lincoln, reluctant. Let's move on, says Laney. We are now talking to Luann about it. Well, I was very little, but I do remember how excited we were to finally have a brother. We thought for sure you'd be a girl, says Luann. Why would you think that? Asks Lincoln, confused. Mom and Dad already had your room decorated for one. At first we thought they'd brought home the wrong baby. Luann, giggling and leaves. Dramatic beat. Clyde, that's it, says Lincoln, holding up another DVD. It's just like Ricky the Wrong Baby. Ricky's so-called parents wanted a boy so badly they paid a doctor to switch babies. My parents already had 5 girls. It makes total sense. Lincoln, that's kidnapping, and according to the Michigan State Sentencing Guidelines, a person who maliciously, forcibly leads, or entices a child under the age of 14 with the intent to detain, conceal the child from a parent or legal guardian can be found guilty of a felon and punished to life in prison. I say, it could explain the white hair, says Clyde. Maybe, but maybe not, says Marie. I don't think our parents would resort to that. That's too extreme, says Laney. Come on, Clyde. We have to get to the bottom of this, says Lincoln. They rush off. We are checking the hospital's birth records online. Okay, here's a local birth announcements from the day I was born, says Lincoln. We need to find all the families and see if one of them could be mine. That's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, I say. Yeah, it could be any one of them, says Marie. I don't think this is a very good idea, guys, says Laney. We won't know until we try, I say. Great plan, Lincoln, says Clyde. Or I mean, whatever your name really is. This is going to be an adjustment. Elsewhere, we are hiding in a bush. Okay, guys, first house on the list, says Lincoln. They spy a family of blondes with their kid being a tall girl. Maybe you would switch with that really tall girl. The, says Clyde. The parents stand up to reveal to be just as tall as she is. Or maybe not, says Lincoln. That family is really tall, I say. Wow, they could be basketball stars, says Laney. Next, says Lincoln. We head off to the next house and find the family with a father with a hairdo like Lincoln's and a girl with a familiar laugh. Hey, that girl laughs just like Luann. She must be allowed. And I must belong to that family, says Lincoln. The family reveals to have long noses. Ha 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 ha. Well, maybe not, says Clyde. Nope, their noses are too long, says Furry. You don't say. Next, says Lincoln. The next family is gardening on their front lawn. Maybe she's the one. She's into dirt, just like Lana, says Lincoln. The family takes off their gardening hats to reveal to have red curly hair. Or not, says Clyde. Nope, they have red hair. I swear, if you state the obvious one more oh, never mind. Don't make threats, just read. Next, says Harry. The family's lawn is filled with cacti, which Lincoln pokes out of in pain. Ow, I hate these drought-resistant lawns, says Lincoln. I know, they hurt. Oh, what did I just say? I say, yeah, bad, says Laney. I sure hope it's not this house, because we'd be going to different schools. Just thinking about that makes my feet sweat, says Clyde. A car honks. A car horn honks and is parking in the driveway. I wouldn't worry about it, Clyde. With the luck we're having, says says Lincoln. The parents reveal to have white hair. Gah, the white hair! Exclaims Lincoln. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle, I say. The daughter they have reveals to look eerily familiar. And look at her hair. It looks just like Laurie's, says Lincoln. She looks a lot. She looks like a younger version of Laurie, I say. Clyde takes off his shoe and lets out all the sweat that his feet let out in a saddened state. What does everyone want for dinner? Asks the white-haired woman. Spicy subs, says the white-haired family's daughter, excited. Hair like Laurie's, plays guitar like Luna. When did that get revealed? Eats like Lynn. That girl is allowed, states Lincoln. She is definitely allowed, says Marie. Just when you think you know some people, says Laney. We don't know that, says Clyde in heartbroken denial. He sniffles and sighs as he wrings out his sock. Let's face it, Clyde, those white-haired people are my real parents. I'm going to have to move here and start my life all over, says Lincoln. You can't. How are we going to stay best friends? Do walkie-talkies even reach this far? Some. Will your new parents even let me sleep over? Says Clyde, hyperventilating into his paper bag. Pull yourself together, Clyde. You're spiraling, says Marie, slapping Clyde. Thanks, Marie. I needed that, says Clyde. Now I have some choice words for my so-called parents, says Lincoln, angry. Back at the loud house, Lincoln steps in front of his parents and cracks his neck a little. Can we help you, son? Asks Lynn Sr. Son. That's an interesting choice of words, says Lincoln, incredulous. Yeah, says Clyde, popping up from behind the armchair's left arm. The loud parents look at Clyde confused, and he just waves to them. Okay. Is there something wrong, guys? Asks Rita. Yes, I know my real birth story, answers Lincoln. You do? Says Lynn Sr., shocked. Yep, you really had another girl. But you didn't want another girl, did you? You wanted a boy. So what did you do? You paid off the hospital to look the other way. Then you made the old switcheroo with some poor unsuspecting family across town. What do you have to say for yourselves? Asks Lincoln. Yeah, for shame, says Clyde. Uh, I say, I guess. The parents take a second and start laughing. Oh, I'm glad you find ruining my life funny, says Lincoln sarcastically. The parents are still laughing, and soon Rita stops. We're sorry, husband. We're sorry, honey, says Rita, nudging her husband to stop. We don't mean to laugh. It's just that you're way off base. Oh, Lincoln, of course you're our son. Why don't you sit down? It's time you know the real story of your birth, says Lynn Sr. Lincoln sits down, as does Clyde, Laney, me, and Marie. Okay, you too, guys. Whatever, says Lynn Sr. Well, the day you were born got off to a pretty normal start. My water broke, we called Pop Pop, he came over to watch your older sisters, says Rita. I drove your mother over to the hospital in Vanzilla, but not surprisingly, she broke down, says Lynn Sr., realizing what he said. The van, not your mother. And that's when things stopped being normal. Flashback to that day when Lynn Sr. calling for a ride. We were afraid you were going to be born on the side of the road, but thankfully a black limo pulled up, narrates Rita. The window rolls down to Lynn Sr.'s request. Could have knocked me over with a feather. It was the president and the first lady. When I told them what's going on, they offered to give us a ride to the hospital, narrates Lynn Sr. Lynn Sr. gets in, remembers his wife and brings her over. She is surprised to see who it is. Everything was looking fine again, but you weren't a very patient baby. We weren't going to make it to the hospital. You were going to be delivered by the president until he passed out. Then the first lady took over, narrates Rita. The action shown during the narration is shown as told and flashback. What an amazing woman, says Lynn Sr. She was so cool under pressure. Of course, you had to hear that from me, since you were passed out too, says Rita. That's not how I remember it, says Lynn Sr. Anyway, she delivered you right there in the limo. When we saw you for the first time, our hearts just melted. I was amazed. Wow, Lincoln, that is considered a major league honor, I say. Boy, that's quite a revelation, says Marie. President George W. Bush delivered my big brother? Incredible, says Laney. The reason we never told you was because the president, Lynn Sr. pauses and whispers, because the president was heading to his top secret safe house in Royal Woods. No one knows about it, and no one can. We had to sign an agreement saying we'd never discuss it, says Rita. Now I understand. You couldn't tell Lincoln because you were sworn to secrecy. I say. That's right, says Lynn Sr. Wow, that's amazing. But wait, something still doesn't make sense. Luann said you decorated my room for a girl. It sure sounds like you were expecting one. Uh, says Lincoln. We already had 5 girls. We were just using the baby stuff we had, says Rita. Oh, you couldn't afford baby stuff for a boy because of a tight budget. Yep, that's what they're saying, Marie. That's right, Marie, says Rita. What about the men in black suits and sunglasses that Luna told me about? Asks Lincoln. They were Secret Service, answers Lynn Sr. Oh, wow. They worked for the United States Department of Homeland Security? I say. That's right, JD, says Rita. Lori said there was a scientist in gloves and a mask, says Lincoln. That was the first lady. She got that stuff from the first aid kit in the car, says Lynn Sr. Boy, Lady Laura Bush knew what to do, didn't she? Asks Laney. She sure did, sweetie, says Levita. Okay, what about what Lenny said? That I was carried by an eagle, asks Lincoln, which I found to be totally far-fetched. I say, you were wrapped in a blanket with a presidential seal on it, says Rita. In fact, Lynn Sr. says, he goes to the corner of the room, tears off a piece of the carpet, and reveals a secret compartment with a briefcase. He takes out the briefcase, opens it, and reveals the aforementioned blanket. Holy cow! I can't believe it! I was delivered by the First Lady, says Lincoln, convinced. Me, Laney, and Varese salute the presidential seal. Cool. I believe she's referred to as Flotus. Okay. Lincoln, wait until you tell this story to our class. It's totally going to blow away the story about Liam's water birth. This is weird, says Clyde. Sorry, sweetie, but you can't tell your class, remember? It's top secret, says Rita. Oh, right, says Lincoln, disappointed. That's right, Lincoln, I say. This is a huge government secret. Once Mr. Lin and Miss Rita told us this, we too became sworn to secrecy as well. We cannot tell anyone, period. Why do you keep stating the obvious, you worthless character? Okay, you have our word that we won't tell a soul, Mom and Dad, says Laney. Promises, Laney. You spice things up. We won't tell anyone, reassures Marie. Thank you, guys, says Rita. Sorry about that, son, says Lynn Sr. It's okay, Dad. I'm just glad you can still call me that, says Lincoln. Aw, says, says Rita. Bring it in, kiddo, says Lynn Sr. Lincoln and his parents hug it out. It's so beautiful, cries Clyde with happiness. Before he can blow his nose in the blanket, I take it and replace it with a handkerchief, and he blows his nose in it. Sorry about that, Clyde, but this blanket is very important. Yeah, this is a piece of American history, says Lynn Sr. I hand the blanket to Mr. Lynn. We are reading comic books in Lincoln's room. It's great to know the truth, Lincoln, but we still haven't solved the mystery of your white hair, says Clyde. True, says Lincoln. He thinks. Wait a minute, picks up another DVD. I think I have the answer. Shows it to us. Of course, Ron the radioactive boy. His hair turned white after that gamma ray explosion, says Clyde. But he also got all those weird mutant abilities, says Lincoln. Nuclear radiation is one of the most prominent causes of getting superpowers. I say, is this like a gag? Whatever, reoccurring, whatever. The boys are inspired for another. Field test, says Lincoln and Clyde together. Here we go again, says Laney to the viewers. She winks at the screen, and it iris in. The end. My seventh fan fiction is complete. What I said about government secrets is true. We do not want another Edward Snowden situation. Also, if you read the Kinghammer publishing, I think I gave you your next idea. This turned out to be a really good one for me. Until next time, JD signing off. Superman and Starfire mentions belong to DC Comics. Laney belongs to Kinghammer Publishing on. Heart of the Ocean, Diamond, and Titanic mention belong to James Cameron, Paramount Pictures, Lightfoot Studios, and 20th Century Fox. Okay. Yep, that's the first 10 chapters of The Loud House Revamped. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.